Hello everybody. In this video, we will try to understand the placement of Ketu in the 12th house of a native's horoscope and how it would impact the native's life. In Vedic astrology, the 12th house is known as the house of losses generally. It is called as Vyaya Bhava. Vyaya Bhava means the house where you spend money. You know that the house indicates your spendings, right? As 11th house indicates your gains, the 12th house indicates your spendings. Generally, spending is treated as a loss, but it can be investment also, because your spending would be in terms of investment as well, right? And also it is considered as a moksha house, is a liberation house. As the first house indicates your physical body and your appearance and your ideology in your life, right? It talks about you. And as 12th house is the house of exit, or it is also treated as the last house, so it is generally, it talks about the moksha, the liberation. So it generally governs the spirituality, the spiritual liberation, also isolation. Because if you talk about, let us say you take the analogy of houses with respect to a day. A day starts when you wake up, right? The moment you wake up, so the moment you wake up, it is, let us say it is your first house, right? And then the final house is the house where you come to bed, you come to sleep, right? So this final area, as you take your day or your life, the final area generally indicates a kind of isolation, a kind of slowness. And also it is a house related to your sleep pattern. 12th house is the house of sleep pattern as well, and it is related to your enlightenment as well in your life. And of course it represents foreign lands, long distance travel, losses, expenses, and detachment from the material world. Even if you observe at night, before sleep, you, maybe you're a king or you are a multimillionaire or whoever you are, it doesn't matter, you go to sleep, you are detached from all the material world, even your status also, right? Whether you would be a president of USA or a very rich country or any other country or a poor country, it doesn't matter, you go to sleep at the end of the day, right? So basically, so that is the house of sleep, and also the house where you are, it indicates the detachment from the material world. So before you sleep, you are detaching yourself from the material world, and you would be attached again once you wake up. If you're not waking up, that's it, you're, of course, you are ending up your attachment with all the material world, right? So that's where this 12th house is really, it indicates a kind of subconscious world also. It indicates your dreams, your sleep patterns. And another important thing is 12th house indicates your hidden enemies in your life. And 12th house in general has the energy similar to some kind of ashramas or hospitals, jails, monasteries, the kind of energy you can observe, right? Very calm and a kind of little bit of toxic if you observe, but it's a kind of, it also associates with the places of seclusion. So Ketu, which is the headless shadowy planet of detachment, separation, mysticism, and past life karma, and also Ketu represents moksha, right? So even 12th house represents moksha, and Ketu also represents moksha. and 12th house represents spirituality. Ketu also represents spirituality. So there is some alignment here, alignment of energies, if you observe, with respect to Ketu. And also the 12th house has the similar pattern of Ketu. So what happens? So it becomes one of the most spiritually potent placements in a birth chart, generally we say, because the energies that are aligned here with Ketu are the spirituality of 12th house, and also the isolation of 12th house, and detachment, right? 12th house, this 12th house also represents detachment from the material world. So very much the energies are aligned. So Ketu in the 12th house, generally this placement strongly indicates a soul that has already experienced material life in prior births. So already the soul experienced some kind of good amount of material life, and now it is seeking liberation, isolation, and spiritual depth. That's what we can say. So in the past life, the soul already experienced a lot of materialistic life, and now it also, in the previous birth, it also tried to achieve some kind of material liberation because of a complete enjoyment of material life. Now it is this birth indicates the completeness of that, the remaining part of that, right? So it is naturally detached from worldly pleasures, wealth, and attachments. Ketu in the 12th house indicates, the soul would be detached from worldly pleasures, wealth, or attachments. And such a native is very, very introspective. We can say it often, the native often prefers solitude, seclusion, and he may pursue spirituality, meditation, or mysticism very seriously in his life, either consciously or subconsciously. Some of you may think consciously, I am not, but subconsciously, somewhere, your mind would be seeking, you're into that spirituality. Maybe you're not seeking it now, but in future, for sure, you are going to do that, because Ketu in the 12th house has this kind of alignment of energies. And I will tell you what are all the possibilities of Ketu being present in your 12th house. First one is your spiritual growth and liberation, that is called moksha. See, the soul might be having a very strong desire for liberation from worldly cycles. It's kind of birth and death, this rebirth, this reincarnation, this particular cycle. And also, there's another possibility that the native is naturally inclined towards meditation, solitude, or seclusion, or kind of astral travel, or dream work, or spiritual discipline, right? So these are all expected things when Ketu is placed in your 12th house. Or another possibility is the native may be drawn to a kind of monastic life, we say, or a kind of pilgrimage. He would be interested in pilgrimages or secluded spiritual practices he would be interested in. Or another important possibility is the native likely to achieve spiritual insights without external effort, only through the inner realization. He would be observing the inner realization, and he would be seeking such kind of spiritual insight, and he would achieve it, of course, because the energies are very much aligned. And another important thing when you talk about 12th house is your sleep, subconsciousness, and dreams. So when Ketu is present in the 12th house, the native would be very active. The dream life of the native would be active, may receive guidance or warnings in dreams as well. So the sleep patterns and the dream patterns of Ketu in the 12th house native should be studied very, very cautiously, because they are not just the dreams, they are a kind of divine messages also, you can say, right? So lucid dreaming, sleep disturbances, astral projections, these are all the patterns of Ketu in the 12th house. The lucid dreaming or the sleep disturbance is one of the common thing observed in the people having Ketu in the 12th house. Another important possibility is strong connection with the subconscious mind and hidden karmic layers. So the person would have a very, very unnatural subconscious mind, we can say. So that is also another important possibility. And when you talk about 12th house, we talk about losses and expenses, because 12th house is basically called as Vyaya Bhava, means the house of losses and expenses. So the native may experience loss of money or possessions, often as a form of karmic cleansing, because that is required for realization. See, you may think why this particular loss of money, why Ketu is promoting this loss of money or possessions of the native having Ketu in the 12th house. When you have some loss, then you would have some pain, and pain, with that pain you would have some realization. You would think why it is happening with me. Then you will start your spiritual journey, or the pain would invoke that particular zeal of the spiritual path or realization in you. Otherwise, if everything goes fine and there is no pain, then when you would think about spirituality, right? You would never think about spirituality if everything goes fine in your life. So that's what Ketu believes in. So that is one important thing when Ketu is placed in the 12th house. And another possibility is native might spend on spiritual causes or charity or foreign travel for sure. And the native not overly attached to wealth generally, right? Because Ketu is in the 12th house, so overly attaching to wealth is not possible for the native, and money may come and go without strong concern as well, right? Money comes and goes, and that is another important observation for the natives having Ketu in the 12th house. And could be the native could be uninterested in saving the money, right? So that is why money come and go. And foreign lands and seclusion is one of the important thing for 12th house. When Ketu was in the 12th house, the native likely to travel abroad in foreign lands, and he might be interested in settling in foreign countries or live in isolation at times. Foreign countries, in the sense, when you go to foreign country, who would you have generally? Even if you have some relatives, they would be present somewhere away from you in the foreign country. So it's a kind of seclusion. You're preferring a kind of isolation, or you would be isolated in the foreign country generally. So that's where the native would be, the energies promote foreign countries, the traveling abroad and all the stuff. The native may work or live in ashrams or hospitals or prisons or research labs. So places connected to kind of healing, right? A kind of confinement, just how we lived during COVID times, right? We were not allowed to go outside. So such kind of refined confinement, the native would experience when Ketu is present in the 12th house. Because when you are in a hospital, you're not much, even though you are allowed, you would not go outside very often. You would stay in the hospital when you are hospitalized. So that's the behavior of Ketu in the 12th house. It makes you having that seclusion. So there's ashrams or hospitals or prisons or research labs. When a person is in the research lab, you just observe, he may not come out very often, because he would be completely into that research. He would be thinking about that. So generally the person doing research may not come out very often. He would only come out of the research lab just for having some lunch or dinner or something, only for having some food. Otherwise he would be stayed there only. So it is promoting confinement. That's what I want to tell you. Another important observation is the native, the native would have a very transformative and karmic changes in his life for sure, because by that only the native would go to the spiritual path. Otherwise, right, he would be engaged in these material activities unnecessarily. That's what Ketu thinks. Another important thing of 12th house is detachment and isolation. So there's a natural tendency towards emotional withdrawal, seclusion or solitude. This is all the patterns of Ketu in the 12th house native. The native is very much is has a natural tendency towards this emotional withdrawal. Just observe, right? And this emotional withdrawal is seen in many people having Ketu in the 12th house, and they could feel socially disconnected generally, right? Because their energies promote this kind of seclusion, isolation. So even though they are surrounded by people, they feel very alone. They feel socially disconnected because Ketu is in the 12th house, right? And the native may intentionally seek this seclusion or solitude for peace or healing. The native would be interested in living, a kind of, he would be interested in this solitude. He would seek solitude, I would say. And another important thing is Ketu is in the 12th house. So this is present in the 12th house because Ketu wants to finish your karmic cycle. This is indicating a kind of karmic completion. So this is the final house of placement. This is a final house, right? In the zodiac signs, 12th house is the final house. So it is showing some kind of karmic closure or winding up the entire some kind of cycle in your life. For sure, this life is ensuring, this birth is ensuring a completing of a karmic pattern in your life. So the native may renounce material ambitions in favor of inner peace in general, and also if not spiritually aware, so the natives may experience a kind of depression, because it not all the time, it is not necessarily the native would be interested in moksha and liberation. It can lead to some kind of depression also for the native. Ketu in the 12th house, right? Or you can say escapism. So another important thing is escapism. If you ask them to take high responsibilities, they would escape from them. Normal responsibilities, normal life, they are okay, they are fine with that. And isolation due to unprocessed karma is also seen. So isolation is one of the important patterns of Ketu in the 12th house people. And now I want to tell you what kind of Ketu, or how can you know if your Ketu is working positively or negatively for you in the 12th house. I want to tell you, when Ketu is working positively in the 12th house for you, you would have natural detachment and inner peace as well, right? Natural detachment towards all material things. So that is, Ketu in the 12th house is working very fine for you. It is very positive thing also. And if you have some strong spiritual growth and you were thinking about liberation and all, yes, Ketu is working very positively for you. And if you have some astral guidance or dream guidance, or kind of when you are sleeping, if you are getting some guidance in your life, yes, Ketu in the 12th house is working very positively. And if you're having some gains in your life through this spiritual or foreign lands or spiritual practices, yes, Ketu is really working very, very positively for you. And he is telling, yes, the spiritual practice is also giving you the money or whatever, right? Whatever things you want in your life, it is giving you. So just get your money and focus on the spirituality. Even foreign lands, if foreign lands are giving you money, then it means that just get the money and focus on your spiritual journey. So Ketu in the 12th house is working very, very positively for you, because he is ensuring that I will give you your livelihood and whatever your family requires, but you need to focus on the spirituality and all, because I am here to complete your karmic cycle. That's what Ketu is saying. And Ketu is working very positively for you. Just imagine a family or a person getting the money in the foreign land with minimal efforts, and just that he has to focus on his spiritual journey, right? So Ketu, when it is working positively, it is like that. It gives everything, and just it wants you to focus on spirituality very, very slowly or calmly, nicely. That's it. So Ketu is working positively for you if you're seeing these kind of symptoms in your life. And When can you say Ketu in the 12th house is working negatively for you? Let us say you are having a lot of loneliness in your life, or you have a lot of depression in your life. So a lot of people do not know what is depression, you know. So if you're having a kind of stress in your life, and it is, you're observing because of the stress your life is not happy, you know. Happy means really happy. It's not that you're just living. If you're not happy because of, you know, your because of your spendings, or your the way you're working, and you're getting a lot of depression all the time in your life, that means Ketu in the 12th house is working negatively for you. And even more, if you're lonely most of the times in your life, yes, Ketu in the 12th house is working negatively for you, and you have to perform some remedies. And another important thing is, you have a lot of tendency to avoid responsibilities. Some people only, you know, do their normal office work, or normal, you know, if they are students, normal student things and all, but they are not much interested in stretching beyond their scope and do the household things, or doing much more things in the life. Or if a higher responsibility is given, let us say in the educational life, or in the um, work life, if they are given a very very high responsibility, then they will not be interested in taking it. So that's where Ketu in the 12th house is having a tendency to avoid responsibilities, right? So you're actually avoiding the responsibilities because Ketu is in the 12th house. So this Ketu in the 12th house is working negatively for you, because you're not taking the responsibilities. When you're not taking the responsibilities, you may not evolve in your life. And another important thing is, when you have some hidden fears, you have some kind of psychological issues, then remember Ketu in the 12th house is working negatively for you. And another important thing is, if you have some mental restlessness or isolation from the society or social groups, then understand Ketu in the 12th house is working negatively for you, and you have to perform remedies. And the first remedy is, you need to chant Ketu mantra 108 times every day, and you need to practice meditation, especially before sleep. Otherwise, your mental restlessness or your psychological issues, you may not think some of the things are not psychological issues, but remember how to recognize the psychological issues. If you're different, if you're behaving differently from all the others, right, in some of the situations, then understand you have some psychological issue, right? Some people might be having, you know, they may check things multiple times, right? It's, what is that one? The kind of psychological issue. If you're checking once or twice, it's okay. If you're checking 100 times or 1,000 times, what it means. Or if you're checking repeatedly, or if you're doubting repeatedly, right? You have some psychological disturbance, right? Even though you were good in so many other things, but what is this one? What is this kind of behavior? Please observe, right? Just don't ignore. Observe your behavior, observe your psychological behavior, right? How you're responding to others. Just observe. So definitely, you should practice meditation in your life. Otherwise, you may not calm down, and you may not have a very peaceful life. So, for better sleep, you need all these things, and you need to perform selfless service in hospitals, ashrams, or old age homes, right? Without expecting any recognition or identity, or without taking pride in doing all these things. That is seva, this is selfless service. You have to perform this in ashrams, hospitals, or old age homes. And avoid substance abuse or escapism, right? So you should always avoid escapism. When there is a responsibility, try to take it up. Slowly you will grow, right? And another important thing is, you need to donate gray colored items, bed sheets, or spiritual books to several people, so that the interested people, then Ketu in the 12th house would start acting positively for you. And sleep with a copper coin under the pillow to reduce some kind of nightmares or disturbances. There's a very good thing worked for so many as keeping a copper coin under the pillow, right? So these are the remedies for Ketu in the 12th house, people. So overall, Ketu in the 12th house signifies a kind of a native who is spiritually gifted. Generally, we say Ketu in the 12th house, you're spiritually gifted, right? In general, 90% of the times it is spiritually gifted only, even if unaware early in life, in your early life, you would not be noticing this Ketu in the 12th house impact, but in the mid journey of your life, yes, you will understand this behavior, and you feel detached from the material world and drawn to some higher truths in your life. Okay, Ketu in the 12th house is a very good placement for the people seeking the spirituality and liberation, and you would experience foreign travel, dreams, seclusion, inner transformation. These are the common patterns of Ketu in the 12th house. You may undergo losses or isolation, but these are all required to purify your soul, right? So it's one of the best placements for liberation, no doubt about it, right? So if you're handling this particular placement with some kind of awareness, with some kind of self-discipline, with some kind of understanding, right, then this is one of the miraculous placements, we would say generally. So Ketu in the 12th house is not a simple placement, and especially your 12th house lord is well placed, or your Ketu in the 12th house is placed in a very good nakshatra. Yes, it is ensuring lot of spirituality related things for you in this life, and you would be a kind of spiritual guru also if you really plan well. And if other placements of the other planets are also very well supporting this particular Ketu in the 12th house, then yes, you are a spiritual guru, and you are here to seek liberation in this life. And most probably Ketu in the 12th house would complete that karmic pattern for you in this life, and spirituality and then liberation is in the queue for you, right? So they are in the queue, and that is the behavior of Ketu in the 12th house. It is not a normal placement, we would say, right? It's generally for normal people, you would not see this Ketu in the 12th house. So it's a very good thing. You are a person seeking higher truth generally. So I discussed some of the general behaviors and also the important things, but the truth is Ketu in the 12th house is a very, very great placement if you're really spiritually inclined, right? So thanks for watching this video. In our next video, we'll start with Ketu Mahadasha and different Antardashas. Thanks for watching this video once again.